and that is Alain Cawley, who, after riding a winner a few days ago, announced his retirement, and he is now going to become a jockey's agent. We'll be able to chat to him now. Alain, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can indeed.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, I was talking about your announcement of your retirement just a few days ago. How soon did you know that this juncture of the year, this juncture of the season, was going to be the end of your riding days?
I made the decision about 2 weeks ago that I was going to stop if I had a winner in the next 2 weeks, or if not, yesterday at Hexham would have been my last day, win or lose.
And it is always nice to go out with a winner, and I imagine that the reception for the announcement has been quite an enjoyable one for everyone around you.
Yeah, no, look, I enjoyed it, especially winning on Friday, and going out on a winner made it a bit more special.
But you're still a young man, Alain. You know, you're in your 30s. People say, why do you want to quit the saddle when you seemingly still have so much to give?
Yeah, it was just the opportunity that came to do the next job with some good riders, and that was the only reason. I was very happy riding. I still feel like I was riding as well as I ever was, and I just kind of looked for a couple of years down the line, and I thought it has to be either now or never for this opportunity. So I thought I better take it now rather than I didn't see this opportunity being there in a couple of years down the line.
We're just watching Rory and me winning at Musselburgh, and obviously this is the last one. Was there any sadness in this experience, even though obviously it's a winner and you've got something exciting to do? I'm sure we imagine that jockeys carry such a passion for what they do.
Yeah, no, it was Market Rasen, and it was sad. So another jump meeting was on, and it wasn't a very big field of riders, and I think if there was a few more of my close friends in the race, it would have been a little bit more emotional than what it was. But yeah, it was sad and exciting at the same time. When I crossed the line, I knew it'd be my last one, and a couple of the lads that rode in the race knew it would have been the last one if I had a won. So that's why they were over to me straight away. But it was sad and exciting.
Quite a few good days in the saddle to reflect on, particularly in a few Grade 1s in Ireland. And we might look back at some of those now, if it's okay with you, Alain. And a horse who I imagine close to your heart would be John Cole, who not only won the John Durkan, but also the Hennessy in the space of a few months. Can we reflect on that first Grade 1 in the John Durkan? Yeah,
the John Durkan, that was a special day. First Grade 1. He was an amazing horse, and all credit to Paul Nolan and his brother James, because he wasn't the easiest horse to train, because he was massive. Probably the biggest horse I've ever sat on. But he was just amazing. He just went through races at ease and jumped fences at such ease to him. He was just amazing to ride. They don't come around very often.
And that relationship,
not for me anyway.
The relationship with Paul Nolan was pretty special. How significant a role did he play in the career of Alain Cawley?
Oh, he was massive, and his brother James and all his family. I went there when I was 16, straight out of school, hadn't a clue what I was doing, or I just wanted to be a jockey. And I was pretty light at the time, and he had a handful of flat horses. So I took out a flat license and was apprenticed to him for probably 3 years, I think I was. but I went jumping then, and I held a flat license along too. So I done the both for a couple of years, and I got loads of experience. And then when we started to have a few winners, I was champion conditional for him, and them things were all down to Paul and his brother James and all his family.
Another great day on Jonquil came in the Hennessy. What are your memories of that?
Yeah, the Hennessy, that was a special day. Back from where I'm home, a busload of friends and family came up that day. So when he won, we celebrated that one well. That was a good day because in his run before that in the Lexus, we felt we left it behind, and we rode him a little bit differently in the Hennessy. So to get it right after getting it wrong made it a little bit more special.
Your impression that you're giving here is that that's perhaps the highlight of your...
Yeah, definitely. But by far, that's the one of the biggest races in Ireland. It's by far the biggest race I've won. And on a horse that was my first grade one as well, and the biggest one. And he was just such a pleasure to ride. So, yeah, that's definitely by far. But there's been plenty of other good days, but that does trump them.
I'm bringing up another horse that I think would also, I imagine, have a special place in the memories of Alain Cawley, and that's Shinrock Paddy. What are the memories of Shinrock Paddy? He was
a very good horse. Barry Connell owned him as we're watching. He won the bumper in November, I think it was, at Cheltenham. He was different to John Call, but he was all guts and heart. Shinrock Paddy was, and loved heavy ground. I think he came my second grade one like a week after my first one, so it was a couple of weeks I'll never forget.
And these horses, obviously, we see them as wonderful athletes on the racecourse. But when you're part of a team, riding for a trainer, riding at home, then riding them in the racecourse, how special is the bond that you formed with these stars, Alan?
Yeah, no, it is. It is special, and you see them at home, and the staff do a great job minding them and looking after them as well. So it's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that you don't see when you're riding them out, and obviously you can't ride them all out every morning yourself. So you're asking the staff how are they, and and then when you do sit on them, you just bond a relationship with them and the people that look after them every day.
I wanted to ask you about one more horse on the racetrack that I thought might be worth bringing up, and that's the Shunter, who won at Kelso last year. And obviously there's a little smile on your face. How confident were you going into the race that the Shunter was going to take the beating?
Look, Emmett Mullins is a good friend of mine, and I don't need to say how good a trainer he is. His record speaks for himself. But I was confident. He was confident that he had him trained for today, and if he won that, the plan was obviously to go to Cheltenham. But that was the only day we were thinking of that day. So anytime you're sitting on a horse that for Emmett Mullins, you've got a big chance. I rode Noble Yates for him a couple of runs before he ran in the National at Wetherby. And he's just a brilliant fella to ride for, and when you're riding them, you've always got a chance.
And so the future now, you've mentioned obviously jockey's agent. Who are the riders that will have you in charge of booking rides for them?
At the minute, Aidan Coleman, John Neal, Richie McLernan and Kevin Brogan, and hopefully a few more will follow along them down the line, and them lads will be good to get started and get into the new role, and hopefully I'll enjoy it as much as I did riding. It'll be difficult because there's not much I'll beat riding.
Of course, the thrill and the passion of riding is something that is very difficult to replace, as we've often heard from jockeys who have called it a day. But what would be, you think, having been on the other side of that particular fence, what do you think that the key element is in being a good jockey's agent?
It's just I haven't really done loads of it. I've spoke to Dave Roberts a lot about it, and I was with Chris Dixon last week in the morning watching him doing it. So it's just being on the ball and watching what's been entered and being declared, and watching what's happening on the racetrack. Things like that you'll be just keeping your eye on everything.
Well, if you've spent time learning from Dave Roberts and indeed Chris Dixon, you've had a good grounding, I'd say. And finally, Alan, just before you go, and we talked about that Hennessy success and the thrill of winning ever so narrowly on John Call. You beat a certain Ruby Walsh in a driving finish, didn't you, by a very short margin. What would the memory of that day and that ride? Is that the best ride you've ever given a horse?
I don't know about that, but it was special, and Ruby was he was a massive help to me when I was in Ireland as a 7-pound claimer and coming through. I used to annoy him with questions along with a lot of the other lads that were there, and he was a help to me, and it was always special to beat those big lads. Ruby beat me plenty of times as well, so it was nice to get one or two back on him in my career. So,
well, that is something that no one will ever take away from you. Alan, thank you very much. Well done on a super career in the saddle, and we wish you the very best of luck in your new career. Alain Cawley.
Yeah, and can I just say one thing?
Of course you can.
Yeah, just to say, in the later years of my career, Micky, Hammond and Jim and Becky and all the team over there have been, amazing to me. And Micky is a brilliant fella, and the support my family has given me in my career and watching me breaking bones and helping me get back and keeping me going, they've been massive. So a massive thanks to them and all the owners and the stable staff that look after the horses. They do so much hard work that goes unseen behind the scenes. They're amazing people in this game, and I'd just like to thank them all for their help.
Alan, thank you very much, and I'm glad you had the opportunity to express those sentiments, because it's good that people know that's how you feel about their contribution.
No problem. Thank you very much.